So you may have noticed lately that I have been much more regular about uploading content than I had previously been in the past. Of course, not every video I upload is a full review on a game I just played. I've been doing a lot more kind of webcam-y stuff, kitty stuff, and, you know, just quick video impressions of newer content in addition to the old game stuff. And I'd like for that to continue. Obviously, I have to throw in these kind of dirty guerrilla videos in between the more time-consuming reviews in order to keep up regularity. I mean, it is what it is. I am currently, as of the time you're watching this, I am currently on vacation. I'm not at home. I've gone off to another state, flown away, and I didn't want to break up that momentum. So I'm recording this a little bit in advance so I have something to show at this time that you're watching the video now. Anyway, what I'd like to show you is I have been, for a little while now, picking up import Super Famicom games. RPGs. Super Famicom RPGs. They're not all translated, because I know that's now a thing where people will pick up ones that have translation patches and then play them either through a converter or their Retron 5, apply the patch, and play it on a system. Those aren't necessarily the games that I'm getting, although some of them are. What my criteria is for buying Super Famicom RPGs has been completely just an aesthetic one. Basically, I'm buying them for the box art. Because they're cheap. I'm getting them for like $4 or $5 a piece. 10 at the most. Like, that's the most expensive game I might buy is a $10 game. And I just wanted to show you what I've gotten so far. So this is perhaps the ugliest looking box that I have. You can tell it's super worn. Like, it's bowing out at the sides, there's stress marks, like, this is pretty ugly. But it's intact, and the front, let's get a good close-up on that, the front is really, really nice. You can see that artwork is just gorgeous. And this game is Leen, which is known, if it's known at all, for being the first ever Famicom RPG released. This came out about 6 months into the console's lifespan. This was the first ever RPG. It is based on a science fiction novel, light novel in Japan. And get kind of close up on some of these details. Let's try to. Here we go. Oh, look at that! Look at that ugly motherfucker. Big teeth, and we'll come down. Sorry about that glare. Glare out there. There we go. You see the party. See they have guns and swords. There's like a fairy girl, mage and a staff, and let's get that ugly demon. I don't know the artist that did this, although I suspect this is probably a manga artist. You can, I mean, judging by the level of detail and skill, I'm sure this isn't just some random illustrator. This looks like somebody whose work is probably well known. I have noticed that the better covers that I've been getting have all been from famous artists, which is really interesting because in Japan, like in the US, we get a lot of really hokey looking game boxes, and you can tell that although the artists have been paid professionally, there's a lot of just kind of amateur work in the field. With a lot of, I mean, there's some guys that really know what they're doing, but it's not the same level of where they've hired someone who's really well known outside of game artist field. Lady Stalker. This is basically the, let's get that in there. There we go. There we go. I love those kind of just the silhouettes of the monsters in the background. And I don't know what that central guy is. It kind of looks like a Stay Puft Marshmallow Man, but You see some of the game screens on the back. This is a game I would love to see translated into English, and sadly it's just not yet anyway. It doesn't seem to have the same level of detail as Stalker. Like, zoom in if you can. Yeah, just... I've compared the two games before, not in a video or anything, just personally. And Lady Stalker seems to have, like... It's more of a simplified, cartoony look to it. It doesn't have the same intricate level of detail that Stalker has. And it's not good or bad, it's just, it is. This is an observation. Okay, next we have Trinea, which I was talking before how they'll get, you know, real... I hate to use the term real. I'm not trying to dismiss anyone's artistic skill, but they get more renowned artists to work on their pieces in Japan. Well, this was the I'm sorry, I'm not even going to try to pronounce the name because I'd mess it up horribly. But the same artist that's known for Ghost in the Shell worked on this, and it's just a really... get more in there. Just a really amazing piece of artwork. And I love these dragons in the background. Like, I still don't really know what Trinea is. I didn't know what it was when I bought it, but I saw this art and I absolutely had to have this. This is the kind of stuff, like, on the shelf I would face out. Look at that nice little emblem there. Get some of the game screens in there. I mean, it doesn't look like anything real amazing. They probably could have... I don't know what they're thinking when they pick these pictures for the back of the box. It's like, you couldn't showcase something a little more flashy? You just picked like 4 random screens and threw it in a production folder? Like, okay. We're just gonna pile them up on the kitty. This is my model. Trogdor. He's very sleepy. And of course, you can't really see him, but you know what? We're gonna take a little field trip. There's the other one. There's Hannibal. Hi, Hanny. Shaky cam. Alright, and we're back. Next game. This is Shiren the Wanderer 2, which is more popular in the US than it used to be, I think, due to the fact that the Wii game is kind of rare, and I think that gave it a little notoriety. This is not a game I bought for the art. I've been buying the majority of these games lately from Jimmy Hoppa, which is a name you may recognize due to his kick-ass Japanese import YouTube channel, Import Gaming for the Wins. If you haven't seen Jimmy's work before, dear God, what are you missing? Those game skins are so tiny. His stuff is absolutely fantastic, super in-depth. He covers quirky, just very strange, bizarre games that never had a chance of getting localized in the US. A couple RPGs, like you RPG fans, you would do well to check him out, especially his that London game. I don't know the name of it, but it is beautiful. This PlayStation, not this one. Let's not do this. Beautiful PlayStation game. But yeah, check out his stuff. It's very highly edited. His editing puts mine to shame, to be honest. So yeah, that's Import Gaming for the Wins with Jimmy Hoppa. Go check it out. This is Elfaria, which this is another one of those cases where, you know, It's a really distinct art style. You may recognize it instantly from the likes of Maximo and the Adventure Island series. Same guy, very distinctive signature on his work with that style. Like, you do not mistake this for anybody else. Why is my camera being so... Here, maybe it's because I'm shaking so much. Look at this. Oh, look at the detail in those baddies. These are not translated, and it's kind of a shame because they're very... the art style translates really well into the game itself. It's not one of those cases where it's just like, oh, you... Like Amano's artwork in Final Fantasy, it's on the box, but aside from, like, the battle sprites, you don't really see it in the game. This is not the case with Elfaria. It has this guy's just stamp all over it. I also like the way the art wraps around to the edge. You can see his axe follows. An axe, yeah. I think it follows over to the side. And that's really cool. And the same thing on this side. The bad guy's cape just comes around. That's a really nice touch. And Hudson Bee. Bzzz. There. Okay. I don't have a ton of these. I only have 16. So don't worry, we're not going to be here all day. This is Super Chinese World, otherwise known as Super Ninja Boy in the US. This did get an official, US release. It's probably the only, it's the only game in the stack that is available in English, just naturally. I do own that copy, but let's see if we can get really in on those screenshots. There we go. It's a 2-player beat-em-up RPG. I do have a review already on one of the NES games. So it's an old video, the audio's not real good, but if you haven't checked that out already, you might be interested in that. But yeah, this was another one Jimmy Hoppa threw in. I love this poster is amazing, and I like this copy so much more than the US one. Obviously I'm not going to play it like this. And then we have the sequel, Super Chinese World 2. And just in case you didn't know, it's an RPG. Yeah, look at the level of detail. I mean, that's just cartoony goofiness. Love that tiger guy hiding back there. And I don't know what he is. He's like a bug man? The pink guy with the antennas, and then you have this like awesome dragon ogre swamp thing going on. I don't know. That thing's amazing. You got Luchador hiding back there. It's just craziness. And that's what translates into the series. It's just insane. Oh, I love the little... Look at that Stretch Armstrong there. Punches lights out. That zaniness translates into the gameplay. It's just a crazy fun series. And this, again, this one has no localization, official or otherwise. And that's a shame because it's really crazy. Look at the magic. See, this is what I'm talking about. Trinea needs to step up their game, because this is what good back-of-the-box screenshots look like. Packed full of action, flashy maneuvers. This makes you want to play something. Oh my god, that ogre. The little skulls on his knees and the tribal necklace. Alright, next we have Oh, crap. I don't remember the name of this at all. This, it's got kind of some neat stuff going on with the art. Not a big fan. Jimmy, I think, threw this in for either really cheap or free. And while, yes, I'm collecting these primarily for the box art, I am interested in the games themselves, so really any boxed Super Famicom RPGs I can get my hands on, I am interested in, which is a collection is very, I don't know what I'm saying, very ambitious. Like, that will take me a while. Fortunately, most of them are pretty cheap. There's not a whole lot of really expensive role-playing games. Although I'm sure there are a few. Screenshots look kind of cool. Like, I'm liking the big colorful sprites with the black outlines and not a whole lot of really field of view there, but really nice styled sprites. Well, that's cute. Little boy and girl arguing. Okay. Next up we have FEDA. FEDA, Emblem of Justice, which is basically the Super Famicom's answer to Shining Force. Now this is one that does have an unofficial translation. So if this game looks cool, you could absolutely, go play this. Totally available. Let's get in on that. Yeah, look at that wolf man. And here's not Max. Looking all barbarian-y. Some, like, line art in the background. There you go. There's sexy wolf woman. Sorry, these are so shaky. I'm trying not to... Some game screens. A little more drab, I think, than Shining Force. This definitely has a more serious military feel to it. But definitely some cool character art on the back there. And then just the logo. This one's also in really nice shape. Like, this is a really nice condition box. Next we have Farland Story. Cute little anime thing. Not my favorite box. But there's some cute characters going on there. Kind of gives me Magic Knight Rayearth vibes. I don't know, maybe that's just me. Oh, there's some more spine art. There we go. Some really cool spine art. The camera's so flipping out, it doesn't know what to do with this. Okay. Move on to the back. We got some nice detailed shot of characters. Let's see if we can get in on some of that artwork. It's got kind of a side-scrolling... I'm getting like Tales Fantasia vibes here. I've never played Farland Story. I've heard of it. But again, it's not available in English. It's not really I Love Those Fairies. It's not something I've looked into too deeply. Next we have Glory of Hercules IV. This one's interesting because the artwork is actually horizontal. And you can tell that this series, like, it doesn't need to show you much on the box. You can tell it's pretty popular in Japan because all they need to give you is a title to get people all, like, amped up to play it. Man, I'm having a hard time doing that. else? Let's maybe get some... Oh my god, look how tiny that... This game's actually pretty cool. You wouldn't know it from this box. There you go. There's that tiny little fighting dude. Some screenshots of the game. Oh, look! They're visiting ancient Egypt. That's really cool. Some spell effects. This is basically a Dragon Warrior clone in ancient Greece. It has to... There's a bug running across something. Anyway, Dragon Warrior clone in ancient Greece. I haven't played this one. It is in English, not officially. But has a translation. I have not played it yet. I want to. I played the third one. I was gonna do a video on it, and god, the game was just kind of like, I don't know, it was kind of boring. And I dropped the video. I still have the footage for it, so I'll probably turn it into a feature at some point where I bundle it with a bunch of different games. Because I really didn't feel like it was compelling enough just to review on its own. Okay, so finally, I've got the last of my collection, which is the Dragon Quest games. This was what started me off on this path of collecting Super Famicom to begin with. Was I had basically finished my US collection of Dragon Quest games, and I wanted more because I love this series, and the Super Famicom games were criminally never brought over to the US. Enix decided to experiment on games like Brain Lord and Paladin's Quest, and I guess when those didn't sell very well because they were, to be honest, a little strange, I guess they took that as a sign that people wouldn't buy their really good RPG, which is crazy to me, but there's Enix logic for you. I guess they were putting all their money into Quintet, and it took us too long to realize how good Quintet games are. This is Dragon Quest 1 and 2, the remake of obviously the first two NES games. Here's Erdrick, descendant of Erdrick, and Gwendolyn, the princess, from Dragon Quest 1. And here's the team, Princess and Moonbrook, the Prince of whoever, and what's his face, from Dragon Quest 2. Sorry, I'm not as familiar with Dragon Quest 2. I've played it like once. Then we have the remake of Dragon Quest 3. I don't know, I'm showing you the logo. It's good there on that. There's some nice art there. That is a really gorgeous piece of Akira Toriyama art. It's funny, I really don't like his Dragon Ball Z stuff. It looks like everyone's on steroids, but he is obviously a phenomenal artist. There's a reason that he's, you know, is the face, basically, of Dragon Quest. Some screenshots. This is the game where, I guess, jobs, it introduced the job system. So you can see all the different classes that your characters can be, or you can recruit. There's like some gambling going on down there. And some cutscenes. Probably showing off like, hey, look what we did over the NES version. Now we've got cutscenes. Like the bunny girl and the clown. The merchants. The sages. There's some cool stuff there. So I really like that box. So next we have, they skipped Dragon Quest IV. No remake of Dragon Quest IV. Sadly, that would have been amazing. But the next one we have is Dragon Quest V, which of course we all know from the amazing DS remake. The Super Nintendo version is still pretty good. I think my favorite release is actually the PS2. The PS2 game. It basically has... It doesn't have the extra content of the DS version. Like, you don't have the extra chick to marry. The kind of one that looks like Peggy Bundy, but the graphics are gorgeous. The original here is still pretty good though. Like, this was the one I played first, and I still love it. Alright. Moving on, next we have Dragon Quest VI. Now this is probably my least favorite of the Dragon Quest games, but that artwork is really fun. The party's just riding in on a dragon. Get like some up close to that. Oh look, I didn't even notice that ice dude at first. Look at that demon hiding there. That's subtle. On his arms up there. I don't even remember who that guy is, but obviously pretty important if they include him on the box. Let's see. Some Slime Knights. This is the prettiest of... It's funny. Dragon Quest games, like, they start off so simple, because this is, like, the prettiest, probably, Dragon Quest game on the Super Famicom. And then they made Dragon Quest VII, which was for PlayStation, and kinda ugly. I mean, it's my favorite. I think 7 is probably my favorite Dragon Quest, but... Let's look in on those characters. There we go. And look! Look who it is! It's Terry! There's Terry from Dragon Quest Monsters. That's awesome. And last, but okay, maybe least. But finishing out not only my Super Famicom RPG collection as of now, but also my Dragon Quest collection is Torneko's Great Adventure. There it is, the fat bumbling merchant. I like that little emblem there. The fat bumbling merchant from Dragon Quest IV. Look, he's sweating because he's carrying all that stuff. This is a mystery dungeon game, just like Shiren the Wanderer 2. In fact, mystery dungeon games and the original Dragon Quest games were all developed by Chunsoft. So it is not surprising that this would get a crossover. Of course, now every popular RPG series in Japan has had a mystery dungeon crossover, because they cannot get enough of their roguelikes. This was another game, just like Glory of Hercules 3, I was going to do a review on, and once I got into it, the game wasn't that meaty. Like, I thought there was more to it. You're basically, Torneko is running a weapons shop, and he goes into the mystery dungeon to collect gear. And I thought you'd come out and sell it, like the little mini game in Dragon Quest IV where we have to run a shop. And you don't, it's really just cutscenes. So it's just go into the dungeon, kill things, come back out, and if you as you level up your shop, basically, you watch cutscenes. And it was kind of boring. I mean, it's still fun gameplay, but for a video, it just didn't feel like something I wanted to do a whole review on. So I also shelved it. But again, I saved the footage, so at some point I'll probably do a video on untranslated Super Famicom RPGs. Or, not untranslated, sorry, because those are translated. But translated Super Famicom RPGs, and probably showcase both of those. So I'm just holding on to the footage for now. Anyway, that is it. I've got 16 of these games and a cat that's still back here. Hey, kitty. Again, this is all pretty much thanks to Jimmy Hoppa. Some of these I bought on my own. Like, but a lot of them have come from him. Because it is really nice having a source in Japan. I cannot understate that. That's... or overstate that. It's nice having connections. I would like to see this collection grow. You know, but it's pretty much whenever I just have a little extra money to throw at it. It's a long-term thing. But I guess the next time I get maybe 16 more of these, I'll do another video. Anyway, thanks for checking in. And I don't really know what's going to happen in between now and when this video actually uploads, so normally I would end with some sort of channel update, and there's Hannibal. Normally I would end with some sort of channel update, but I don't know what you know and what you don't know. So I guess we'll just end the video here. Thanks for tuning in, and as always, you know, stay tuned to Daria Plays RPGs for some obscure, quirky RPG coverage you might not see anywhere else. Let's see. Alright, Trunter says bye!